Hi, I'm Biz, and this is my channel. I never thought I would have a YouTube channel, but here we are. And this is my first video. And because of that, I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm going to go by Biz, but my real name is Elizabeth. I'm married to my best friend for 10 years this year, my love, Andrew. We have 2 daughters that challenge us every day. I am 31. Professionally, I'm a technical writer. It sounds so fancy. Some fun things about me. My TBR or to be read pile, I think will always be bigger than my read pile. And I'm not sorry for that. This is a Marvel household. I have respect for DC Comics, but we are a Marvel family. I am a committed introvert. Die hard. So I'm the only one in my room right now, but this makes me very uncomfortable. My current guilty pleasure is dark chocolate bark. It's just, I just can't stop. I have 3 dogs. I have 2 ukuleles. I have a lot of notebooks. I collect them. It's become a problem. Not as big as my mug addiction, but there's no judgment here. A little bit deeper about me. I am a writer. I professionally and creatively, or however I should say that, it has been a dream of mine for quite some time to be a published author. Well, part 1 of my dream is to be a published author, and part 2, or along with that, I want to be a screenwriter. My love for writing definitely started in middle school, at least that's as far back as I can remember. And I was 12 and I had this obsession with Rocky. I mean, I still do, but that's when it started. And at the time, I think only 5 Rocky movies were out. So I wrote a script. Well, I started writing a script for Rocky 6 in the brightest green gel pen I could find. And yeah, I had never even seen a script before. I didn't know what it looked like, but there I was. I mean, what 12-year-old doesn't do that? And that's what I was doing. I was writing a script for Rocky 6 in 6th grade. My timeline might be off, but I know I was in 6th grade when the first Harry Potter book was put in front of me. And my world was blown away. I had never read anything like that before. I spent most of my childhood in a private school, so books like that were not available. And I remember reading that book, or reading aloud, which was my least favorite thing to do because I would just burn through it. And someone would be reading aloud about the pink umbrella and the brick wall, and I'm just sitting with the book and I'm like, and I'm looking around, I'm like, is anyone else reading this? Are we reading the same thing? Am I the only one that's excited about this? And it triggered something, and I didn't know that you could do that you can imagine things like that. And then something else happened. I watched a movie in 7th grade, and I predicted the ending, and I was so upset. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what movie it was, but there was a very stereotypical jock-looking like figure that ended up with the beautiful white blonde cheerleader in the end, and her tubby Spanish friend on the side was just so happy to participate. And I predicted the ending, and I was so upset. And I think, what a terrible movie. I was very judgmental. And I remember thinking, God, if I wrote a movie, it would have all of my favorite things, with a girl that looked like me as the main person, and she kicks butt, and she has a sword, and there's magic, and she doesn't say sorry all the time. And that's when I started writing my first original story. You know, it wasn't a sequel to anything. And I had started writing it as a script. And it was just everything to me. But in middle school also, and in high school, I got at best average grades, and most of the time they were very sad grades. I was very unmotivated, and I just remember thinking, like, this is very impractical, you know? Everybody wants to be a star, and I have terrible grades. You know, if I have terrible grades, then I probably have terrible stories. So I put it away, and I didn't look at it for a very long time. So fast forward to 2011, and it is a month before I'm gonna get married to Drew, and we had moved a bunch of things into our new apartment, and I came across my original story, or my original screenplay at the time, and it just ignited my middle school self all over again, and I was just so excited to talk about it, and I was really excited to talk about it for about 2 or 3 days. And at that point, my husband lovingly said, "I love you, but you gotta shut up and write it." And I said, "No, you know, this was just some fantasy, some dream I had when I was younger." And he recognized something that I was very, very much afraid to recognize, and that was that I just loved it. It wasn't work for me. It was effortless just to spend hours and hours thinking and writing about the story. So I started writing again, and it was definitely more of a hobby than anything. And fast forward, a lot of life got in the way for when I first started writing it, and marriage and kids and bills and loss and everything. But that same book, I finished that in April of 2020, and it was, wow, that feeling of finishing that book was incredible. And I started querying it, and that's a whole other department. And I don't want this video to last forever. It kind of ties into where I'm at now and why I'm doing this, because as you can tell from the title of my video, I am not successful yet. And I say that because from writing being a hobby of mine, even though it was something I loved, to me committing to it, and to now, there is so much that I have learned about this process to becoming a published author. And I feel like even if nobody watches it, at least for myself, I can document this process and remember these milestones, even if they're not the best. Because today I am sad. I am discouraged. There was an event today for Twitter called Pit Mad, which is something I'll get into. And it's not the first, second, or third one I've been a part of, and it just did not work in my favor, and it has me doubting and questioning everything. And I just wanted to cry, eat my dark chocolate, and not get out of bed. But I want to remember this, at the very least help someone else who might be feeling the same thing. And probably when I'm done recording this video, I'm gonna do what I usually do when I need a boost, and I will either watch award winners, their acceptance speeches, or watch authors unboxing their novels. And it never fails. If I ever see a movie, especially in the theater, I will stay for the entire thing, even the credits, especially the credits in the end. And for years, I've been telling my husband as I watch those credits, one day my name will be up there, or the many books on my shelf one day. And as cliche as it might sound, I have hope, and I really do believe that I have only truly failed when I stop or when I give up. And as long as I am learning and open and I keep going, then it's not a matter of if, but when. So yeah, one day.